Hello everyone, and welcome to the first session of a Wheel of Time adaptation of Dungeons & Dragons. I'm your host Darian, and tonight we'll be covering the first session of a group of adventurers who, for better or worse, are the individuals responsible for driving the events of the pattern in this Third Age come again. We find ourselves in the Third Age, an age yet to come, an age long past, with the events of the Wheel of Time series having occurred so long ago as to be forgotten entirely when the age came again. The nations are somewhat different, the land masses are a little strange, if you look and expect to see the Ranland we all know and love. Many nations' names have changed, or their borders, while some may seem entirely alien. Among these changes are a few races added to the Wheel of Time, which I'm sure is a decision that seems a little odd. Joining us tonight are Beric Stonecutter, dwarf of Durok's Hold, having just escaped the madness and confusion that is the Portal Stones. Jocelyn Serenel, known as Gina, Tamadoran initiate to the White Tower, with more than a few secrets in her past. Macerim Aldar, Blade Master of Shinar, and on a mission of deepest importance to his kingdom and the Blight Border itself. Aeil Mathlin, Blade Master of Mayen, hater of all things Darkfriend, and a man on a mission to defend his home, even if his home doesn't want his protection. Aeil Onirdena, Elvish scholar and gleeman, traveling the roads of the world in search of good songs and fascinating stories. Lastly, we have Ferredin of the Nine Valleys Sept, of the Tardat Aeil, paying tow from within the wetlands. Our game opened in the Running Bull Inn on the island city of Tar Valon, near the North Harbor. Jocelyn is keeping bar, getting on the more well-to-do patrons' good sides, attempting to learn something of the city's events, having not been there very long. Macerim, Aeil, and Aeil are all customers tonight, drinking and watching the buzz of the crowd steadily grow more agitated around them. After a perception check, the party members in the bar notice that the talk of dark friends is all that is prevailing the topic of discussion tonight. Perhaps dark friends in the city itself. Rumors are afoot that Trollocs were found dead outside the Shining Walls in recent days. Unknown, veiled strangers were found murdered, seemingly by their own spears in the countryside around Tar Valon. Rumors of false dragons proclaiming in Essex, Saldaea, and Skelosk, and now rumors sprout of a man who can channel in the war-torn lands. As the party waits, a note is slipped into their pockets stealthily. When they find it, it reads in a neat and flowing script that there are dark friends afoot. Be careful, but meet me in the courtyard of the White Tower, where the Gaideen train with their hopeful younglings. It is signed Mistress Tamlin. Jocelyn decides, as they all notice, that each of them receives the letter, to go and talk to Macerim. Macerim decides, after some time, to hire a private dining hall for the four who got the letter, after some initial distrust between the four. A sense of trust seems to come out of nowhere, causing them all to do what they would have only done one time in 1,000. It was almost as if their meeting created a small Ta'Viran threading. Jocelyn seems to remember the name Mistress Tamlin spoken of among the Blue Sisters, and it seems she is someone they don't think very highly of. Meeting Mistress Tamlin turns out to be Selenia Daigar, Blue Sister. She tells them of a plot to assassinate the First of Mayen, implicating the freed folk in the act, a group of tribesmen who control a large chunk of land near the coastal border of Mayen that refuse any attempt at governance, inside or out. As they are all debating with her whether or not the pattern truly needs them all as she says, and if this is just more Aes Sedai half-speak. Macerim says that he has a letter to deliver to the Amerlin, but she just left for the Borderlands, and a funny sense of situational irony. Jocelyn senses shadow spawn and embraces the source, but surely she's wrong if she's sensing this in the tower grounds. Around this time that Beric launches himself at this exact moment from a window, 2 stories overhead of them at the time, falling 20 feet to the land in a tree, falling to the ground beside them all, yelling about shadow spawn in a daze. Suddenly, before anyone can get their breath, a Trolloc bursts out of the sewers, flanked by two others, running hard and fast towards them. Ferretin shortly closes the gap behind them, having been chasing them through the sewers all night long. Fighting these Trollocs, they realize that there must be a Fade driving them nearby, as any damage inflicted upon them is barely noticed, and any attempts that normally would have been taken to run in fear are ignored. It's around this time, though, that talk begins to break down after a bathroom break into discussions of Girl Scout cookies. And after several minutes, it seems that there may be several women in the Aeil Waste who may or may not be Fardares my hopefuls, and they travel the Waste, selling cookies and learning survival skills. We'll find out later on. Also, due to the chaotic and fun nature of role-playing games, after having another derailing, one of the Trollocs, who was a ram, suddenly grew bare arms. Anyway, Ferretin annihilates one of the Trollocs in a rare form of the dance involving dual-wielding spears, as the warder kills one swiftly, while Selenia Sedai engulfs another one in flames. After some discussion, the team decides to follow Ferretin into the tunnels to chase the Fade he claims he lost. Beric stays behind for a minute, only narrowly avoiding the attention of the guards. Ferretin finds a trail. It seems as if the Myrddraal wanted them to follow, leaving score marks with its blade in the wall, along with this pervading sense of wrongness that just would not leave Ferretin. After traveling in the sewers for some time, they come to a large sewage reservoir, seemingly 60 feet, 30 feet across. Not 60. The Myrddraal appears on the other side of the pool through a doorway, 5 Trollocs flanking it, and a fight ensues on the walkway. The 5 Trolloc rush to attack, and Jostle, in a quick bout of thinking, binds the Fade with flows of air in place, leaving it seemingly trapped for hours, leaving them unhindered to fight the Trollocs. Selenia caught 2 on fire, Ferretin did massive damage in his usual fashion, and Maestrim and Aeil showed us what they could do with the blade as well, after Aeil came under a paralyzing stare from the eyeless gaze. Aeil bolstered the party for some time with his abilities before wading into the Trolloc sortie. However, a Trolloc got a lucky hit on Aeil, and he went down nearly dying in that battle. Our team did come out on top, thankfully, killing the Trollocs, reviving Aeil, and turning their attention to the Fade. As the Fade saw them approach, he croaked, "The great lord will have him this time," before being immolated and decapitated by Beric. As Selenia heard this, overcome by having to channel so much in one day, she breathed, "Oh no. The Dark One's minions know I am shielding he who will become the Dragon Reborn," before collapsing into her warder's arms. The warder, Rem, picked her up and told them all, "I will take you to your room in the Running Bull Inn, and we will talk there." With that, the session ended. Next session, hopefully, we will learn more about this possible threat to the dragon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Darian, and this is the first session of Giraffevores.